Yonder stands the sinner. He calls my name.
Exactly.
Exactly, Neil. Yeah, I almost got to see Tommy Bolin. I was supposed to go, and I forget what happened. I think I think it was.
Were there drugs involved?
There might have been, but everybody, like my brother's band and stuff, everybody was going to go. He played at La Paloma.
Oh wow, he
Yep.
played at La
Played
Paloma.
La Paloma.
God, that's a
That's
small.
when that's Private Eyes had just come out, and he had been touring with Teaser with Michael Nerado Walden on drums,
Wow.
and Stanley on bass, and that black chick's on like saxophone, and Jan Hammer on freaking keyboards.
Dude, what a legendary lineup.
Yeah. I just wish he wasn't so fucked up when he hit guitar player. You know?
Well, that's the thing, right?
He was a better guitar player than what you hear on all the live stuff. The live stuff is horrible.
Well, yeah, he was loaded.
Fucking out of it, dude.
Out of his gourd.
He's out of it, and they still recorded that shit, and still all those bootlegs fucking made it out, and all the bootlegs were just trash, dude.
Yeah.
It just they were recorded bad, and they fucking the guitar riffs, you can barely hear it, and I think that was intentional.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you listen to all that.
Was he just not playing well at all?
In Japan. Well, I mean, on the regular parts of the songs, the chords, but all the leads are all fucked up.
Look at Smurf come.
Yeah.
I will edit that out.
Yeah. Oh,
Smurf jizz. Oh yeah, we're recording.
Oh, I didn't know that.
For shizzle. No, you can talk crap.
No,
I don't care.
Basically, the whole thing was just bad. Just bad.
I don't think I need to describe this to anybody. This is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, well. Is that an oil reciprocator?
It's an oil sucker, brother.
It's an oil sucker, yeah.
It's an oil brother sucker.
Oil reciprocator. For the bottom of the barrel, let's move it up top type stuff.
That kind. Let's get it all up on your bearings and shit.
Get it all up in there.
18? Yeah. Guess the foot pounds, folks.
Foot pounds, everybody. 18.
18 and foot pounds to go.
That's right. Hey, you're gonna have Bob Dylan come in, do some voiceover on your YouTube channel. Yeah. Got Bob Dylan here, everybody.
Yeah, if you're smart, you'd chase all these threads, but I'm not smart.
I'm not very smart now, man.
No.
Yeah. Right, because the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind.
It's always blowing in the wind.
Right, blowing in the wind. Kind of like my last foot.
Just like my last foot.
That's right.
Click.
Knocking on heaven's door.
Knock it.
Yeah.
Click.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me.
You know what would have been really smart is installing the connecting rods and pistons first before putting this on. But
right.
that's okay.
You can still back it out. Don't worry.
I'm not going to back it out. Like, I'm going to admit defeat, Rick. Come on.
Why would you?
I'll just make it more difficult on myself.
Well, why do you do that?
Well, because I'm not very smart, Rick.
Now you got to flip it. Flip it good.
Don't worry about that. Got to find the right bolt, though, to put in. Those two will go there.
Flip it good. Flip it into shape. Go forward.
Whatever.
Move
I've got so many of these.
It's not too late. To flip it.
To flip it?
Into shape. Flip it good.
Flip it real good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't even have a spring compressor, so.
You don't have what?
It's not a spring compressor. What's it called? It's called a ring compressor. So, because I have no idea how I'm going to do that, but we'll figure it out. I could go rent a tool if I absolutely needed to. That's what I like to do, is rent tools. Hey, internet. Knock it off. There we go. So now we can flip the bitch over. And this is going to suck because this is, well, it's put this way. It's heavy. And it keeps getting heavier.
Which way you flipping?
This way. I got it. You don't need to help.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Sure you got it, Paul.
Perfect. I told you. It was a controlled fall.
No, that wasn't.
That was pretty controlled.
It was smooth. You've greased it up, but
yeah,
let me tell you.
Another microphone failure here, so that's awesome. Anyway, so at this point, Rick has taken off, and I'm looking up the specs to get the top, intermediate, and oil rings set up properly. And those settings are going to be 11 thou, 35 thou, and 11 thou as the minimum. I'm going to go to 18 thou, 35 thou, and 18 thou. That way I can just run all the boost and not really worry about these rings pinching together and causing a massive catastrophic failure in the engine. So simple as get it squared up in the cylinder, get your feeler gauge out, see how easy it slides in. This one is sliding in at 17. I probably left this particular one alone. So, you know, ballparks. The goal is to get them at the minimum spec and move on with life. It's not too difficult a job, just time consuming. I actually kind of enjoy this part. Something cathartic about it. This is just a quick time lapse, kind of showing the process. You start with the top ring, then go to the medium ring, or intermediate ring rather, and then the oil ring. I'm just running back and forth to grab little tools, little things that'll help me out during the process, but no big deal. I'll get in depth in the next clip, which of course has lost audio, so I'll have to talk to you over that one too. So as I said, I lost some audio again, but here I am just twiddling my fingers on the block and probably pontificating about what my findings are, and in the next clip I'm probably going to pontificate about my findings some more. But here I am holding the trapezoidal intermediate ring. When you get one of these ring packs in your hands, you can really see what's going on. Interstate McBee did a good job of showing what orientation goes where and all that stuff. So as I said earlier, I'm going to have to file the intermediate ring and oil control ring a little bit, and so I grabbed the rustiest, crappiest file I possibly could find. And this is where I'm showing you how I go about it, and this is the first one I did, and I was kind of stupid, and I should have just taken it from one side, but I eventually flip over to the other side and do it as well, and I learned my lesson, so I decided against that in the long run, and I grabbed a better file that was easier to do this with, and they make actual tools for this, and I don't have one, and I don't see any reason for it for me personally, so I did it the hard way. Okay, so the top ring was in good shape. It was at 18 thou, and that was fine. You can see that there. Can't really see the gap, obviously. The middle ring was at 18 as well, and it had to go out to 35. I went just over 35. 35 is the minimum spec. And the oil control ring was at, I think, 11. Now, 11 wouldn't fit in there, but I decided to move it up to 18. Max is 30. So this should give a good tight seal. The top ring being closer to the top of the spec is supposed to be good, because I think that's the ring that gets the most jam in it. I want to keep this piston on number 1. It's going to go in here. But I'm going to get the connecting rod in here, and I'll take you guys over here and I'll show you how to assemble the connecting rod in here. I can't remember where the big end goes. Oh well, we'll figure that out in a second. Okay, so orientation is down and to the right as the front of the engine. So it goes like that. So there's the front of the engine. You see how these guys are pointing that direction? That's the way that gets oriented. And then the front of the engine's this way. So that's the right way. So that's how that goes. Okay, and orientation's right. Top of the piston says front. And there we go. I got the wrist pin in. I need to put the snap rings. If you're at all watching this just for giggles, I'll show you how a snap ring works. So this is what a snap ring is. And this just goes in here. Easier said than done. Probably using the wrong tool. And they are snap ring pliers, but there's a bunch of them available. But this just goes inside there. And there you go. One on each side. Mud tires. Yeah. There we go. Now we're in. This rocks freely. Front of the piston. And we're good to go. I need to put my new bearings in. I don't know what you're looking at. Are you looking down? Yeah. So, connecting rod bearings get loosed up. Probably a 13. Now they're 12. Let me go get a 12. Be right back. Do you love it when you just reach for the wrong tool, like always? Torque wrench is the wrong tool. But I don't care. Good Lord. That must have been my machine shop. So these are cracked rods. I have an earlier 6BT that has the machined rods. And the way you can tell is you see how that's cracked. It's not perfectly flat down here. If it was machined, it would be perfectly flat. But those are difficult. So they did this so that you could just, the manufacturing process, I guess, is easier. But only one cap goes with one rod, and so on and so forth. So, all right. So we're going to take off the cap. Got my new bearings out already. Got a little trash go through it. Wasn't too terrible. There's a new one. It's going to fit in there. Oh, the other way you can tell you have a cracked rod is this isn't a fully smooth surface. So I'm going to look on these and see if there's a distinction. They're just standard size bearings. My crank didn't need to be turned, so I'm happy about that. And they're the exact same part. Exact same part number. So, unlike the crank, there is no top or bottom half. No big deal. Old one can go away. I will clean that up a little. It doesn't need to be oiled from what I understand. I'm just going to ignore those marks. There we go. That's half of it done. People say Yeah, these are standard as well. Well, this one says upper. Interesting. My new bearings don't distinguish between the two. Yeah. It's funny, you can tell how tight the tolerances are. Can you see that? Let me get behind the camera. The writing is imprinted on this. And this is the bottom of the cap, so it takes the most force. So the bearing is wearing like this, so that the forces of the piston are going down. And so when that hits, it's shoving everything down like that. And that's why the bottom of the cap has that writing on there. Hilarious, huh? Anyway. Wrong way. Oh, you know what? These are all... I forgot. Half the package is upper and half the package is lower. I forgot. So on the box it will say $390. Yeah. $380 and $390. Who knew? So I'm going to set that one up over there. That's one complete half. We'll just set that down. And those two. So there is a distinction between the two. I'm just not that smart. Not that I'm not that smart, but you get the point, I think. Yeah, 80. So I think 80 is the lower. Yep. There we go. That cap is ready to roll. Anyone know who Sloppy Mechanics is? My guess is not if you're a diesel fan. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate the crank just to get this out of the way. And got the piston towards the front. Like I said, that's oriented that way. So I'm going to sit this in here. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of orient the rings. They're supposed to be 120 out from each other. That's probably good enough. I don't know if you can tell. So this oil control ring is not lined up with here. That'll go like that. See the gap there. And the top ring. Top ring's right there. So I'm okay with the orientation. We'll set this in here. And I don't have one of those tools. So I'm going to do it the really hard way and just push on those sides, and hopefully this will start to drop in. And the way I'm going to do it is with a couple screwdrivers. I've seen Sloppy do it, and I'm sure he's cringing if he ever watches this, but that's okay. So the reason why this worked out for Sloppy Mechanics is that he was working with clapped out LS motors that already had a ton of miles. I think these are really tight new springs, and I doubt he would do this on new springs. So it's just really This isn't the right way to do it, and I get smarter later. And you'll see it in the next clip. It's fiddly. Hopefully I'll get this in without breaking anything. So I'm a smart man. Audio quality changed because I have to charge the phone. So I'll try anything once. And if I fail, well, then it's a lesson learned. In this case, I was having no luck doing the screwdriver trick. So I went and bought this at AutoZone. It was 20 bucks. And this will cover pistons from 2 1/8 up to 5 inches. Mine is just over 4, so this should do the job. Theoretically. It's obviously far too small. But it looks like what it does is this. Oh yeah. I mean, is it perfect? No. Is anything perfect? No. So it's kind of a ratcheting mechanism. Hey. Get you in here, you can see what it's doing. Although no doubt you've seen this before. It's going to take a lot of tightening to get it down, but it tightens it, squeezes those rings, and gets it in there so that you can just punch it through. You know what's also helpful is if you get all of the ring. There we go. I'm going to hold it down while doing it. Yeah, I'm using used motor oil. I don't really care. There it goes. All right. That was worth the $20, guys. I ain't gonna lie. That was worth the $20. Fucking sick. Pardon my French. Well, no one cares. So I'm just gonna march on, sizing up rings, getting the pistons in there, and then when we get the connecting rods hooked up, I'll flip the block over and I'll show you how that goes. It's gonna be heavy. Whew. It's going. Alright, so we got all the pistons in. The rods are in there. I just need to get them all lined up and start getting the...
the crank thing?
Yeah, I gotta get that thing in there, so...